Hi, good evening. I'm Elizabeth Jackson. Welcome to #gotmoney. So I'm in real estate. It's a really interesting market right now, as everybody knows. And I kind of wanted to discuss what's going on a little bit with Cate Bakos, who you know is a regular on the show. Welcome, Kate. Welcome to #gotmoney.
It's particularly special being on #gotmoney right now.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for joining me.
We all need each other. It's our community is a very, very special one. And I've just seen such hardworking real estate agents who have been doing whatever they can for vendors that are, finding it pretty tough at the moment and feeling fearful. Naturally, we're all fearful. But they've been working the longest hours and reaching out to do whatever they can. And I just feel very, very proud to be in this industry right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Me too. I've been having some really interesting dialogues with various different providers because you and I work in two different markets, right? You're an advocate, you're a specialist who's an advocate, and you take care of clients to actually source property for them on their behalf. And I work in a space where we're currently, we're an investment property strategist firm, but we currently take care of first-time home buyers with different off-market purchasing opportunities. So I have noticed that I mean myself, which is ridiculous to say, I'm really optimistic.
Yeah, I am too. I think what we're going through is awful. There's no sugarcoating that.
Oh, absolutely.
We're worried about revenue, but what I'm really positive about is what this will do for our industry going forward with technology and adaptation and creativity and great relationships, and also what our bounce back will be. And I've heard it all. I've heard economists out there who are being a bit negative and talking about asset values already being 40% over what they should be. Rah, rah, rah. We've seen all of that. We saw Steve Keen climb the mountain with a t-shirt saying I was wrong. And I'm not here to pull apart anyone's theory because none of us actually know how long this shitty period is going to last for. But what we do know is that we'll come out of it. We've still got a very aggressive rate of population growth, and that might go on hold while we're not letting anyone into the country. But Australia is not established that way to not have ongoing population growth. Once we're back on our feet and COVID is behind us, we'll have new residents coming in again. And the most important part of all of this is the action that's been taken by the RBA and our federal government. These are massive, massive measures. We've got interest rates at the lowest point ever. And so people's borrowing capacity is much, much stronger. And I know that there are those out there saying, well, what's the point of borrowing capacity if you've lost a job? But the job losses we're dealing with, some people are being stepped down, some are on reduced hours, and some are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. That's the most disgusting, awful bit of all of this, aside from people getting seriously ill or facing, being in ICU. But when we look at the recovery, the RBA and the federal government have put all of these resources and measures in place to help us get out of this. And so I've got to look at households and the positive impact that some of these things will have on households and what it will look like once COVID is behind us. And we've got investors now holding property portfolios that, provided their tenants are paying rent, are delivering cash flow positive or cash flow neutral results. And that was the intention of the RBA, to make it easier for people to ride through this and hold their property.
You started off by commending the government. I'm with you. I have never seen, and look, I'm not a fan of the Prime Minister, but that's not on display today. But I am just so grateful about how they're taking this on, their approach to it, what they're doing for everyone, because they've really looked at Australia as a collective. They're not pulling people out of the package, they're putting people into the package, and their response to what we're in has been really quick and concise and caring. And I'm a bit like you. I was reading a blog that Bill Gates put up, and during his meditation he said he really feels that this is an opportunity for us to authentically reconnect with each other. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful statement.
It is.
So now we get the opportunity to actually flag our neighbours and make sure they're okay. And we get to walk around the road, obviously not connecting or making connections with people that we don't need to, but we get to help our local businesses the best we can. And there's something about that. There's something about, I guess, the resilience of Australia in the face of this. And that's incredibly evident. And I really love the fact that we will learn now as a consequence of this to connect and do business this way. So instead of, I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt and interviewing Cate. I don't have to. I mean, Cate obviously looks immaculate, but she's in the office. I'm going to do what? Maybe around that. You're in the office.
I got a really good tip off a newsreader. I remember going on set one day, and they were looking absolutely amazing, hair done, lippy on, just incredible, and they were wearing like disgusting shorts under the counter. So today I'm wearing jeans and my favourite old boots, but you know, looking pretty good up here.
That is the key. That is the key. Yeah. Somebody said something on Facebook and LinkedIn that said, make sure you're wearing pants. But the good thing is we get to do business like this. We get to hang out. Cool. I know.
Yeah, so I've even had like e-drinks with people. How good's that? Like 5:30, pour yourself a drink. Let's like go to the e-bar and have an e-drink.
Oh, that's very such a good idea.
Yeah.
So we're actually using this as an opportunity to create other ways of making connection. Are you closed for business?
No, we're not closed for business. Look, we might become closed for business when we're forced to, and obviously I've got a lot of, you know, health practices to be super mindful of. I'm living in a little cocoon here during the day in the office with one staff member, so the two of us get along extremely well. We need to. Everyone else is at home, so I sent home staff that were concerned about looking after their children. The government sent home a staff member who was pulled back from half a honeymoon overseas and she's in quarantine. And I've got another staff member whose husband has a lung condition that's pretty serious. So we're all integrated, we're all on, but I've just got Shannon and I here now, and nobody gets to come through the front door. Every client is an online meeting. We've got hand sanitizer everywhere, and I'm frontline. I'm still inspecting properties. I'm still talking to agents in person, and I'm sending videos to my clients. So my walkthrough is obviously independent, and I have to be, you know, looking at the good, bad, indifferent aspects of a property, warts and all, and telling them all about it. Our building inspectors are able to go through a property. Obviously, there's some really stern hygiene controls there. They're very sensitive to how long ago was someone last in the property, and if the property is inhabited by an owner or a tenant, they've got to jump through quite a few hoops there, or we're having to defer building inspections until it's okay for them to do so. But we are still in business. I've got a Zoom auction tonight at 6 o'clock. We're getting creative with how we're doing this. We just can't bid it, you know, can't participate in a public auction, and there's no more public opens. But I am very confident right now, if I ring any agent and say, can you get me through this property, they could get me through in 10 minutes if I really wanted to, provided there's not a tenant there.
Isn't that great? Because that's me too. Like, I've decided that I'm open and that this is an opportunity. And yes. I don't want to take away from the seriousness of what we're in. But like you, I know that people still need homes, and they still need people to care for them and tend to them in that manner. So the business that we operate is already very digital, and it's been created that way on purpose. So we've got online facilitators for lending. We've got online facilitators for packaging properties for clients. So all of that's been taken care of. And I love the fact that most of the displays out there in Melbourne are in a place now where they're literally shutting down. They're having to send their staff home because they're not allowed this one-on-one connection. But we're already in a place that, because we're so digitally bound anyway, we don't feel like it's going to impact us too badly. The other side of it as well, and I wanted to say this, I work with a really cool marketing group, and they said something that's really interesting, and this is why I'm amping up my marketing.
Yes.
A lot of organisations and businesses now are cutting off their expenses. They're like, is this a necessary expense? No. I think there's an opportunity for a small practice like mine to actually amp up our marketing, because those big people that are out there in that space, they're no longer in the sphere. They
Oh, I
are
love it.
pulling back. And we have an audience that are at home, sitting there on their devices, looking at what's happening. So
Yep.
I do not want to take away from the seriousness of what we're in. I never want to do that. And I know that there are families that have genuine concerns about what's going on for them. But I think that this is also an opportunity for us as practitioners to connect with our audience and to start
I
talking to them,
couldn't
even if it's not for today.
Couldn't agree more. I really couldn't. And obviously it's tight and tough for so many businesses. And you and I are right in the thick of it. We've got small
Oh, yeah.
businesses. Every dollar counts. I've got staff. But what I mentally told myself when this became really serious and really abundantly clear that we would eventually face lockdown and business activity ceasing, so revenue activity will cease for however long it is. If I'm
Yeah.
locked down at home, then I can't get out and see properties. So I'm facing that. But I say to myself, I'm in a revenue generating business. I'm not in a business that has an ongoing return like a rent roll or a mortgage broker with trail or anything like that. My income is as good as my last deal that I've done, so to speak. So the way that I'm focusing on it is when I take my family away on Christmas break, we usually leave on Boxing Day and come back probably around the 20th of January. That is 3 and a bit hard weeks of no revenue and no business activity. I'm telling a white lie because I can't help but check my computer. But the point is I'm not doing business. I might be liaising with people or building my pipeline, but I'm not writing any revenue for 3.5 weeks every year. And you know what? I never get to Christmas Day and think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm not going to write any business for 3.5 weeks. I think, yeah, I'm going on a holiday. So this time around, my mental attitude is, well, it's not yay holiday, but yay, I've got 3 or 4 or however many weeks it is to focus on perfecting my systems, getting some really good new ideas in place, getting that website looking spot on, and working with people I love working with like you to get the messages out there and to let people know what we do and to help people and to extend our reach, and from a marketing point of view to really get out there on stage.
I just love that. I love that approach to it. It's so clever. With clients that urgently need to sell, what's your advice to them? Because we can't dictate their need or their urgency. So how do
That's
we
right.
take care of them right now?
Yeah, so if someone needs to sell, it might be because they've committed to something they've bought and they have to sell to facilitate that transaction. Then they need a great agent who is going to hit the phone. And right now, most agents are great in hitting the phones, but they need someone who can explain the campaign methodology that they think will work in this instance. And they need to, all of these agents are getting in touch with buyers agents. I know they are because my phone is ringing hot. I've had to defer my phone to a staff member, and she's had to let overflow phone calls then go to another staff member. So I've got 2 people manning the calls that are coming in. And that's because agents are working really hard, but they have to. So vendors should be getting video walkthroughs, professional ones done of their property. They should be having a building inspection done prior that's available for download. So agents can organise that. You don't need to go and get a building inspector through every time. You can have a registered building inspector who's independent go and do the inspection for free, and then people can buy the report for probably 60 or 70% of its normal price, and it's downloadable and online. So these are the things we have to do. We have to assume that we can't get people through our property easily.
Yeah, but that's great, isn't it? So we're still working, and we've worked out how to manage it. So we're not coming into that level of contact and connection with each other.
That's right. There are cleaning services out there that can evacuate, or they can spray and treat a property very thoroughly, and a little bit like what we do with pest infestation bombs and stuff like that. There is technology there, but if vendors are able to have a property on display and not lived in, or if they're able to give access at a particular time of day and have all of the cleaning regime done, buyers absolutely know. You can't be touching anything. You've got to have your gloves or have your gel on. You've got a restricted number of people going in and out of the property. I've just seen so much vigilance, and we have to. But the agents are completely across all of it. They know what to do to facilitate a safe walkthrough.
So this is an interesting question. Can sellers call you directly, or do you prefer them to go to agents? Because there
I
might
prefer them
be.
to go to an agent.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I don't really want sellers calling me direct for a couple of reasons. If every seller was ringing me direct, I'd have a blocked phone line. Also, the agent will help them work out what their pricing is, work out how to present their home. That's not my specialty. My specialty is appraising property and buying it for the best possible price. The vendors need to be getting their best possible price. So the person that will help them and work on their side, on their team, is the selling agent. Now, the selling agents and the buyer's agents in this particular environment, we're getting along. We have to, because we're helping each other, but we still are opposing forces. We still climb in the ring and have a bit of a battle about the price tag, because I'm negotiating as well. So vendors shouldn't be talking to a buyer's agent without having the protection of an agent who's looking after them.
Fantastic, thank you. I want to say something about unscrupulous behaviour in this climate.
Yes.
You know, I'm from New Zealand, and we did the earthquakes, and we did them really well, and everybody took care of each other. In this kind of a market, there are agents and agencies out there that will be desperate because of high overheads. Look out for them. And if an agent or agency is unscrupulous during this market, I think people have a long memory about how agencies and agents conduct themselves.
Yep.
My recommendation is, if you need help, there are resources out there for you as a business practitioner, but please don't be unscrupulous with anyone that's out there in the space, particularly considering the stress that everybody's on. Do you agree? I mean, I know you agree with me.
I totally agree. And I've had some conversations with a couple of buyers of mine. We've obviously had a lot of clients choose to go on hold, which is fair enough. If they're either concerned about their job or they're just not comfortable buying in this environment, they'll sit it out. It could be considered by some a really opportunistic time to buy. But if you are an opportunistic buyer who's got great job security or lots of savings and you're wanting to get out there and get a bargain, you've got to be really sensitive about how you go about that. You've got to respect the agent who's probably dealing with tears and frustration and stress at the other end with a vendor that's probably someone they're quite close to or friends with, or, you know, I'm like you, we love our clients, we protect them. So I don't want anyone having a go at my clients or wanting to get the better of them. I just want a fair deal across the board. But I think buyers that are wanting to get a bargain, just stick to your facts and do what you've got to do to negotiate firmly. But when you're trying to dismantle a buyer or throw your weight around with an agent and talk down a property and be negative, and all of that's really, really hard to deal with. So if you're wanting a sharp deal and the seller is motivated and you think your negotiation's going your way, just put it on a contract and deal with it. But you've got to be super sensitive and respectful and try to find some other aspect or way to make it like as pleasant as possible for the vendor. So if they desperately want a particular settlement date, just deliver it.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. You know, we've done this. This will be the making of us. It really will be.
Yeah.
I want to say something. I want to say to our listeners, you know, I've got time on my hands now. And if you're in a situation and you're not certain about it, ring me and I will put you in touch with the right people and the right professionals to help you. Because there's an opportunity for us to create a connection here, Cate, that we otherwise wouldn't have.
Absolutely.
So if you're in a place where you're unsure about, particularly for me, it's always property, but Cate and I have access to other specialists. Cate knows an incredible tenancy manager, Hayley. And if any of you are in a position like within the property space essentially, but you need advice about a loan or lending or money professionals, Cate and I together as a collective can certainly put you on the right track. Because for me personally, I know I'm going to have time. What about you, Cate?
I will, and I want people to reach out and just email me. I'm better to catch via email, and let me know what I can help with. That's what I want people to do.
Don't panic. Cate and I are very optimistic about the market. What a lot of people don't know is that last 2 years, property, the level of property that's been delivered to the Australian market has decreased significantly. As a result of that, there's actually a shortage of real estate and property in the market. The most important and critical part now is that people remain safe, but your properties, while you don't feel like they're supported in their own value, they are. And once we're through this, your capital growth will realise itself and you'll get through it.
Yeah, I think it's what we really owe ourselves, if we can, is to hold our properties, to reach out for the help that's on offer if it can help us. And, you know, things like repayment holidays, we didn't talk about that before, but I think it's fabulous. And the banks aren't asking too many questions. We've got one property ourselves straight away. The tenant made it really clear they're not going to be paying us. And I thought to myself, rather than just reaching out, getting a repayment holiday, this is a loan that's just come out of interest only, and the bank was wanting to put us on to principal and interest, and it's commercial property as well. So the P&I component was going to be quite a bit higher because it's amortised over 10 years. And I thought to myself, that's almost tripling my repayments on this. Now is the time to go back to the bank and say, I could ask for a repayment holiday, but what I actually really want is for you to roll me another interest only for 6 months. And they did it without question.
Isn't that great? We did that. We just settled our land, and I'm like, do I want to start building right now? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I called my builder and I said, I want us to delay the build. And they were like, great. And then I phoned my bank and I said, I'm not going to build right now. I just want everything to hold while we get through this. And everybody has been so empathetic. They have allowed us to create a solution that will work for us till we get to the other side. I mean, you and I are in the same boat because we're sole trade. Well, I'm a sole trader, probably.
Yeah, same.
Business, but we operate businesses that rely on our ability to transact. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone. One of my friends online in London was feeling shame about having to go and get a benefit. And I reached out to her and I said, please don't feel like that.
Not at all.
Just
not at all. She's been working really hard all of her working life to help other people in shitty situations. Now it's our turn to ask for help when we're in shitty situations.
Exactly right.
All for.
So don't, if that's your situation and you're in that, just go do it. Get the help that you need so you can get to the other side of this. We're with you. We're all in the same dinghy, aren't we?
Yep. We are.
We're all in the same dinghy, man. Battling desperately.
Yep.
Anything you want to end on, Kate?
Yeah, you know, we are all in the same dinghy. We're all wearing our hair up and it's going to get mankier and curlier and fouler and our nails looking terrible. And we have each other. It makes you realise how superficial and rubbish all this external stuff is. And we have each other. We've got to stay healthy. We have to absolutely make sure that we don't pass this thing on to anyone. And, you know, everyone that gets it and deals badly with it is someone's loved one. So we have to assume that we're carrying this thing and wash our hands and just be vigilant and do as we're told.
Yeah, I agree. Take care, everybody. I usually end the show by saying God bless, but what I'm going to say today, I'm a Kiwi, so I'm going to say ki kaha, be strong. If you need anything, please reach out and connect with us.